You are trying to give your rookies every piece of information, how much they can handle, how overwhelm them. General terminology, and then the huddle, because not every huddle is the same in the NFL. Progression reads. So look at all these different cadences. If you don't hear the play, you say check, check, check. Personnel groupings, general terminology, and huddle, and I'll get into cadence on Monday. Hope everyone enjoys.
So that's a glimpse into how Dan Orlovsky spent his weekend, going online and talking about. Yeah, you're a nerd, but it's okay. You got me dressing down a little bit on a casual Monday in the off season. I promise this is as far as I'm going with it today. But anyway, Orlovsky is taking us through the complexities of the NFL playbook and different aspects of what quarterbacks have to deal with. Today we're talking about what? Cadence?
Yeah, so here's the playbook real quickly for everybody at home. This is 2008 Kyle Shanahan, so about 16 years ago. Just for the context of how thick that is, you are going to take this playbook and teach it to your rookies on 3 different occasions. The whole thing. You're going to start all over like you've never done it. One is happening right now at rookie minicamp. The second time is going to be at mandatory minicamp when your whole team is there. And then the third time will be at training camp. Again, you aren't just picking up where you left off. You are going to install it, teach it, all 3 times the very same way from the very beginning to make sure you're giving those guys as much of information as possible. I talked about it today. We're going to go over cadence, which is the verbal way the quarterback communicates at the line of scrimmage to everybody.
Sure. And it's pretty important, and I want to tell you exactly, because I know you've been enjoying our notes today.
Yes.
The leaderboard for the most false starts last year. The Jets had the most with 31, followed by the Titans with 30 and the Panthers with 27. All 3 teams were led, as you may recall, by inexperienced quarterbacks.
Also, young quarterbacks that maybe haven't developed that alpha personality. This is where, like, the ability to control the room with your voice is a big deal when it comes to the cadence. So the cadence and what it means and how many different versions of there. So most teams, you're going to have 5 types of cadence, okay? The ways that you're going to communicate to your offensive line. The first one we're going to say is what we call a first sound. Now, here's a couple details of why rookies learning this matters. So first sound means when you get into the huddle, you're going to tell everybody, like, hey, fellas, this play is going to be on the first sound. A couple things matter. You got to tell your offensive and everybody, get set to the line of scrimmage, okay? The second thing is you have to be the last person to basically get ready for the football, because you have to make sure as a quarterback, a young guy, everybody is set. You can't have any movement before the ball gets snapped. These are the type of situations where you don't want an elaborate play that you have to think a lot about, because you don't want any form of communication going on with your offensive line, because those guys are waiting for that very first sound. When it'll sound like this, Dan, because every cadence has a declaration start. Sometimes it's set hut, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's ready. Whatever team they determine. But the first sound is you'll get up to line of scrimmage and it'll be set hut. Now, 2 things. One, there's 2 words in there, set and hut. The second part is that you're trying to teach your young quarterback, you want 2 words really to sound like 1 word. That's that first sound. So you got everybody to get set, no shifts, no motions, a play that's very little thinking so we can go play fast, okay? The second type of cadence is that second sound, okay? It's going to be very similar to that first sound. Remember, every cadence has that declaration of a set hut or something. So the first sound is set hut. Okay, second sound is going to be like this. Set hut, hut. Okay, why are we doing the second sound? Well, first sound is if the defense hears that first sound and they jump, we got a free play. Okay, now we got a chance for a big play downfield. The second element is if they hear that first sound and they don't get the ball snapped, they might back off just a little bit for a fraction of a second, and then we could jump them. So first sound, second sound. The next one is on 1, and that's the one that a lot of people at home probably hear so often, because that's when you'll get to the line of scrimmage and be like, set hut. It's a little bit more relaxed, and that's when you'll get into that color number so often that you hear Aaron Rodgers, green 19, or a blue 88. Okay, so sometimes the colors mean absolutely nothing. It's just what you're comfortable as a quarterback talking about. Sometimes the color has a reference of, hey, I'm changing the play, a direction we might be audibling to. Every week you might make a color a live color. So that one will sound like, set hut, green 19, green 19, set hut. Again, you're trying to get those to form into 1 word. And those are the plays where you get shifts, motions. And again, in the huddle, that might be a situation where you go, hey, tight end, you're going to motion. Right when I say that first set hut, just get into the motion.
So if you're on first sound or second sound, you pretty much can't audible, right?
Cannot. That's the big thing, because those guys, those offensive linemen get into their stance, and they're like, first sound I hear, I'm going.
Right.
So the play selection is very specific to that. So first sound, second sound, on 1, on 2. Again, a very similar similar starting point, okay? Break the huddle. Now, this for a rookie quarterback, when you're in the huddle, this is a big deal to be like, hey, fellas, give me your eyes, okay? We're going to go on 2 here. We're going to try to get them to jump off sides. We're going to get them to play a little slow. So you're trying to make sure everybody hang in there. So on 2, quarterback would get to the line of scrimmage, said, hut, green 19, grind 19, said, hut. Very similar to that second sound, we're trying to get that defense to maybe on that first, said, hut, you're trying to get them to jump or, hold off for a second. And then the last one is a double count. Now, what is the double count? This is really the one that is the information gatherer. The Drew Breeses, the Bradys, the Peyton Mannings. What you'll do is, and this is where the colors come into play a little bit. Hey, this week, fellas, when I say yellow, there is no play. We are not running. You are never snapping the ball unless the defense jumps off sides. Okay, so we're telling everybody in our huddle, like, hang in there. I'm going double count. Let's take advantage. This is the one play we practice all week. Said, hut. Blue 80. Blue 80 said, hut. Okay, and then you might get into a different type of play, and you hear that voice inflection. Those are the 5, and the big thing is trying to get those rookie quarterbacks to understand, hey, on these 2, we're trying to play fast. We're not motioning. We're not shifting. We're not thinking. This is when you're trying to control the line of scrimmage a little bit. And the better they get at that and the communication of it into the huddle and the ownership, it changes the way that they can control an offense. When I say first sound, I want you to clap when you think the ball is going to get snapped. So I'm going to go, hey, Graz, we're going to go on the first sound here. Remember, first sound is going to say set hut, okay? Real quickly. When you think set hut and ball is going to get snapped, I want you, and imagine we're all sitting in a room, 40 of us together. I want you to clap your hands, okay? So I'm going to go, Graz, on the first sound. On the first sound. Ready, break.
Okay.
Set hut. Okay, we were totally in sync there. Ooh, that's fantastic.
We didn't practice
Now let's go
this.
Second sound, okay?
Yeah.
Now what you don't want to hear is this. Right. And you guys aren't on the same page. Let's go second sound, guys, okay?
Okay.
Said hut. See, you're behind me, right? So there's that growth of
we didn't practice.
us all getting on. Let's go on 1 here, okay? Let's go on just a normal 1.
We'll see how
said hut. Blue 80. Blue 80, said hut. See, so now, you're a little bit behind me again, and that's that. You're trying to get those 2 words to sound like 1.
All right, that's pretty good. We're going to work on it. Maybe do better tomorrow. You on tomorrow? Wednesday.
I am not on tomorrow.
Wednesday.
But this is why this is just one part of the rookie quarterback's growth and development. And the reality is this. You can't be as good as you want offensively until your young guy gets a great control of all this stuff.
Yeah, and that's what we hear from Chicago. Caleb Williams being ahead of the game on stuff like that. Obviously going to want to get our head coach in here. Herm, you've been watching Dan break all this down. You once upon a time had a rookie quarterback, Chad Pennington, back in 2002. What kind of stuff did you do to get him ready to go?
Well, Dan has kind of covered it, but I thought even more important than that was basically I would line up in the huddle with the offense. And I wanted to see him control the huddle with the way he looked at players in situations that arose up in practice. And because I told Chad, you've got to earn the trust. Plays are plays, but the players got to trust you. You got to look in their eye and you got to convince them that, you know what? Okay, this is what we're going to do. And that was important. Plays are important, the cadence is important, but how you control a huddle as a quarterback, I think, is the most important thing.
So real quickly, touching on that, as a rookie, you might get to play in your headset this week, and it might be near right, 18 strong on 1, ready, break. And as a rookie quarterback, coach, you know this, you walk in a huddle, you go, all right, guys, near right, 18 strong on 1, ready, break. Well, Coach was talking about what he's looking for, and once these guys really master this stuff, is go, all right, guys, listen up to me. We're going to get in near right, and we're going to go 18 strong. Listen, Z receiver, if you see that safety start to creep down, you got to make sure that that's your responsibility. You're going outside in and back. Let's make sure that we get to our aiming point and trust your vision and make sure that that backside is cutting all the way off. Let's go near right, 18 strong. We're going to go on 1. Everybody hang in there. Let's get the second down right here. On 1, ready, break.
If you guys enjoyed this, tune in to NFL Live all off season. Orlovsky's going to be doing this constantly. As you can see, there's plenty to go over.